You've done this one already, Masako. I know, but there's a point to this. Hey folks, MasakoX here. Now, if you're relatively new to the channel, or not so new actually, you might be confused as to why I'm saying that this is a 2021 edition. Well, back in 2017, as actually one of my first ever what ifs, nearly 5 years ago, I tackled the question of what could have happened had Goku never met Bulma, and the catalyst that sparked Dragon Ball happening, as we know. Well, since it's my birthday tomorrow and I'll be turning 35, yes, I am aware that I am ancient to some of you, I felt it would be nice to give this classic story another whirl. Now I've garnered some experience in the intervening years, trying to make the idea a bit more nuanced and a bit more like a story, rather than me just ticking off certain things that happen in order. But if you'd like to check out the original version so you can compare, the link for you is up top. But I feel we can make this a one and done still. So let's quickly set the scene for you. But not before you press the like button. The place is Mount Paozu. Bulma is searching the forest in her Renault 5 Turbo Mark II. I seriously want that car. And if I ever get to 2 million subs, I don't think I will though, I'll buy one of these and kit it out like her car and go around the UK in it. You heard it here first. There'll be a road trip! She's taking a break and spots a blip on her radar, which has not moved since she first spotted it a day ago. Whatever was ensuring its constant position, it meant that nobody had taken it. Good, she thought. Those strawberries would be hers, and hers alone, for the rest of her natural life. Or said life might be shorter because, you know, overeating. Anyway. Now what would ensure that she and Goku never met Masako? Well, like I mentioned in my original, I think it still stands, Goku had to spend longer outside, away from the house. He had been struggling to find fish for his evening meal, and today's supply had been seemingly scarce, more so than usual. Goku is a persistent little one though, with natural intelligence. You could check out my video up top about saying that Goku is actually smart, just not in the way that we evaluate intelligence. He is determined to find a suitable option for his fishy sustenance. He didn't want to resort to regular meat, as the animals in the woods really weren't all that big. That wouldn't have been enough, that would have been aperitif. As a result, Goku had to hold out longer to find his ideal catch of the day. Meanwhile, Bulma's driving through the forest and eventually rocks up to the house of Goku. She pockets her car in a capsule and begins to walk up to it. "Hello?" she shouts. "Anyone home?" 10 seconds of silence would infer that no, nobody was at home. She peers through the windows and spots the 4-star Dragon Ball nestled atop a chest of drawers. It was right there. This put her in a spot of bother though. She couldn't really resort to B&E, stealing. She shouldn't, but at the same time, she was so desperate to get the Dragon Balls. She had found 2 already, and with 3, the dream would be so much closer to reality. She clambers through the open window and looks around. Whoever lived here wasn't that tidy. Must have been some kind of hermit. In any case, she picks up the ball and places it in her bag, just putting away the guilt. She then has to think of a replacement. Thanks to her naive and arrogant mind though, also perpetuated by youthful invincibility, she assumes that the hermit, they must be dim-witted. Typical city girl, she's thinking that. She spots some fruit on the table. An orange catches her eye. She takes a marker from her bag and draws 4 little circles on it, a Dorgan Ball, and puts it where the Dragon Ball had originally been. With her prize, she decides the best thing to do now is get out of here pronto. Her car wouldn't be fast enough and somebody could follow the tracks. She fumbled her way out the way she came and ran into the forest, walking for a while before coming across a clearing to which she then pulled out her monobike. With 3 balls in tow, she screeched off to find the next Dragon Ball in Aru village. Meanwhile, Goku had no idea of any of this. Thanks to interviews with Akira Toriyama back in the day, if Goku had never met anybody, he would have been quite insular, barely talking to anyone. His diction would have been fine, but there would have been little need to communicate since he rarely saw people. He might have seen the odd backpacker or shopkeep in a nearby village if he ever needed to get supplies that weren't readily available, but when he did get home finally with the fish he wanted, Goku was oblivious to the fact that the Dragon Ball had even been taken. He's not the smartest person going, and so Bulma's trickery would have worked long enough for her to be long gone. However, after a while, Goku did feel that something wasn't right about the house. Something was off, but he couldn't quite put his finger on it. Until he could smell citrus when he went to bid his grandpa good night. He picked it up, even though he wasn't supposed to, and sniffed it. It smelled like an orange. That was weird. Never smelled like an orange before. He then licked it, and that was the taste of orange zest. Oh no. How could this have happened? The Dragon Ball had turned itself into an orange! Goku was flailing around. This was a sign that, oh, bad sign, he must have been slacking. Grandpa had become a fruit to punish him. Or maybe he's not eating enough fruit? Whatever it was changed, and Goku wasn't a fan of change. This resulted in him frantically trying to figure out how to change this Baku into a Dragon Ball. But yeah, Goku, that's just fruit. It actually makes you a bit of a fruitcase. The real 4-star ball was now in the possession of Bulma. She had succeeded in swindling Oolong in Aru village and had scored the 6-star ball from the village elder, Pachawampa being very grateful for Bulma's help. Without Goku, Yamcha would have never come across Bulma in Diablo Desert at that point in the story because she was a girl, and the bandit was not going to go anywhere near girls despite Poir saying that her flying car could be worth a fortune. Even if they didn't sell it, they could use it for their own ends. It's cool having a flying car. Even then, the bandit just couldn't bring himself right then to get anywhere near her. And speaking of, the 3-star ball was her next target, and that was in the middle of the ocean. Luckily enough, she had a speedboat for just such an occasion in her utility belt, because of course she does. As a result, Bulma never met Turtle at that point to bring Roshi to shore. With Oolong present, they met the Master on his island. Normally, he would have scared strangers away, but the girl, right there, was rather appealing to him, and he heard her out. And when he asked for his favour, Bulma recoiled, but Oolong pressed her to do it, as it would mean that they would never have to see each other again sooner. She reluctantly complied, since she had her underwear on this time around, and Roshi was satisfied with the result. Bulma got the Dragon Ball and went on her way. And before you go, if you ever need my help, don't be a stranger. Bulma cringed, but hey, martial artists might come in handy someday. Well, that date came sooner than she thought. Fire Mountain came about, and the Ox King was more welcoming to Bulma than in the original, since he too had a little girl as a daughter, and to be mean and angry to someone similar to his daughter, oh, that would be unfair and rather mean. He asks her why she had come here, and she mentioned that a Dragon Ball was nearby, and that struck a chord with the king. Like the one my old master Roshi has. You know Roshi? Know him? He was my teacher years ago. Oh, I'd love to catch up with him soon. Soon, eh? Bulma hatched a plan. She vowed to come back and help put out the fire, and recruited Roshi using another quick flash, and he did his thing with the Kamehameha. And even though the mountain wasn't really a mountain anymore, the Ox King was still happy to catch up with Roshi, Bulma actually getting a prize as well. But sadly, Chi-Chi was left out in the cold. No prince to come your way. And she swiftly dismissed Oolong. I mean, she wasn't that desperate. Now here's where things deviate from my 2017 model a bit. I said in that one that they went to Monster Carrot's haunt to stock up on supplies. But then it dawned on me writing the script. I was mulling over this. Well, there's no Goku. There's no Yamcha. Supplies would have been more plentiful. Why would she need to stop exactly in the same city where the rabbit mob were? It wasn't really that much logical sense. As a result, she drove through the city and never saw it again. Monster Carrot left uninterrupted. At this point, Bulma had 6 Dragon Balls and the last one was located back out in the desert. She stops off in a little village on the desert edge and asks the little shopkeep what is the thing nearby the coordinates where the last Dragon Ball was. The cashier looks worried. Oh, I don't know why you want to go there, but that's Emperor Pilaf's castle, no doubt. Emperor Pilaf? Oh, aye, indeed. Is he quite dangerous? Oh, no. He's just very loud and annoying is all. Then why all the concern about him? Well, if you ask me, why would you willingly go in there and get yourself involved with that little squirt? As that was being said, Pilaf was being a little squirt, in his castle, slamming his fist on the table. Why can't we go in and strike now? The Dragon Balls are right on our doorsteps! Mai was being stoic. Sire, it's clear that whoever has them will come here for the last one. It's not luck that got them those 6 Dragon Balls. They must have a radar as well. How? A radar is massive! How can they carry such a thing? Whatever the situation, Mai suggested to the Emperor just to stay here and lay a trap, grabbing the Dragon Balls for themselves. Thanks to the intel from the locals, Bulma anticipated some tricks from this foe, so she used her own set of tricks. With Oolong right beside her, she could use his transfiguration powers to get in, if she could get him to follow along, of course. I've had enough taking orders from you. I want a piece of the pie. Bulma got extremely angry, but before the two could squabble further, Yamcha stepped in, having been brave enough to actually step in, shouting to Bulma with his eyes closed. Hey, I can help with you. They turned to him and Oolong recognized him. Oh, great. Now this shy little bandit's gonna steal the Dragon Balls. Look what you did, brat. You were shouting too loudly. What I did? You started this shouting match! Yamcha was blushing, with his eyes closed still. But then Puar transformed himself into a pair of dark glasses and lunged himself onto Yamcha's face. At once, Yamcha calmed down. Thanks, little buddy. No problem, Yamcha, said the glasses. Oolong groaned, explaining that Puar here was his old classmate at Transfiguration Academy. So then, of course, Oolong had to comply. He would rather show up this tryhard than get into another argument. Yamcha offered to help too in exchange for a car. Bulma looked at him and said, Is that it? Huh? You're okay with giving your car away? Sure, that's hardly anything to me. Have it. She tossed a capsule to him, and Yamcha beamed. You serious? Well, of course. I've gone this far, and I ain't gonna give up now. You wanna help? Then help. Can you fight? Can I? I was born to fight, said Yamcha with newfound gusto. And a car. The glasses were helping. With that, plus the intel about Pilaf, the gang devised a plan to let themselves get caught. Yamcha stayed outside and found his way inside whilst the others walked in. Thanks to Yamcha being a good thief, at this point in the story of course, he could traverse his way up the walls of the compound and soon found his way to Pilaf's chambers. He spotted the Dragon Ball on the table, and everyone were transfixed on the other side of the room, this big room, on some monitors. Sure enough, the gang were indeed being trapped. Well, joke's on them. With his stealthy ways, Yamcha stole the Dragon Ball and sunk back down the wall, but not before placing an orange that Bulma had given him with some dots on it. It worked once before, so... Inside the castle, Bulma and Oolong walked through the chambers a while before spotting the Dragon Ball was moving. That was their signal. Suddenly, they turned around, walking right back out the door again, them seemingly not wanting the Dragon Ball anymore that had been left in wait. A fake one. Well, that was weird, thought the Pilaf gang. Why would they suddenly give up and go back outside? Then, the Zenny dropped. Shu smelt something. Hey, boss! Did you buy some fruit? Of course I didn't! Fruit is nasty! Shu looked to the table and picked up the Dragon Ball, sniffing it. Sure enough, it was an orange. The Dragon Ball had been stolen. Before they knew it, the team had met up with Yamcha and scampered off, leaving them totally swindled. But they knew where the twerps were going. Back out in the desert, the gang were looking at their quarry. All 7 Dragon Balls were there. Yamcha and Puar were happy with their car, and Oolong was going to get a piece of the prize, so he was happy. Bulma being ready to go. She summoned the dragon and got her lifetime supply of strawberries. Oolong looking dumbstruck. Strawberries? Are you joking? No, it's what I've dreamt about since I was a kid. Now the dream is real. But instead of just getting a pile of strawberries right there that would rot in a few days, Bulma was presented a coupon which granted a lifetime supply of strawberries. Think of psychic paper from Doctor Who. What that meant is that she could show this coupon to any grocer around the world, and the coupon would magically compel the cashier to let her take as many strawberries that she wanted for free. Since we agreed you get a cut, you can get some strawberries too. You could always sell them, Piggy, if you wanted some money. Oolong was about to attack, but she then used the vitamin against him, and that put a stop to that. So with that, the dragon gone, the Pilaf gang were left with nothing. They had gotten the robots out and found the group, but they were too late to get the wish. However, Yamcha was able to take out the gang, and their robots were now defeated. The crew then ran off to lick their wounds, vowing to get the Dragon Balls again. But when they got back to their hideout, there was no sign of them. They weren't there. The balls were inert. But they had no idea that they came back again for a year, so as far as they were concerned, they were gone. Then and there, Pilaf vowed revenge against Bulma. Bulma headed back to the city and just forgot about it all and released Oolong from his contract. Yamcha and Puar went off with their car, all was well. Bulma had strawberries, and our life went back to normal, not really thinking about the Dragon Balls for a while. That is until King Piccolo shows up. Pilaf had found the rice cooker with King Piccolo in it, and had opened it to ask for his help in stopping Bulma and her blasted Capsule Corp. But little did Pilaf realize the enormity of what he had done, releasing the, at the time, King of Demons. When Piccolo had sent those goons scurrying away doing his dirty work instead of the other way around, he had found the Dragon Balls, which had been left laying in wait. Bulma, after a couple of years, thought, well, maybe she should start looking for them again. But ultimately she was too busy with homework, which meant by the time she had pledged to look for them once more, all of them were in one place. Somebody had collected them. And before she could quickly go and get them or ask for the wish herself, the sky turned black. Piccolo had wished for his youth back, and from there, things got worse. It might have been for the best that Goku stayed in the woods, actually, and kept himself to himself, actually. So Goku lives, him blissfully unaware of all the stuff that was going down outside of the tranquility of Mount Paozu. With Piccolo overthrowing the government, this got the attention of Roshi. He had been contacted by Bulma, her remembering his offer to help whenever he could. She offered to show begrudgingly her underwear again, but this time Roshi refused. "Kid, this is personal. I'll handle this myself." Well, he tried. He tried to use the Martha, but like in the original, it wasn't enough, and Roshi's life force fell that day. And without the cohesion of Goku present, there was no real fight back. Yamcha and Puar were in the desert, and so not on Piccolo's radar, him choosing to pick off fighters from recent Tenkaichi Budokais. Same goes for Goku. In the end, nobody was left to stop him until you-know-who from space rocks up. I mean, I already said the catchphrase once in this video, so to do it twice, that'd be a bit much. Raditz confronted King Piccolo in his palace, and demanded that he step aside at once for the glory of the Frieza Force. With the king not stepping down, Raditz took matters into his own hands. "You know, for a Namekian, you are rather stubborn. I don't think you understand who you are dealing with. You with a power level of... what, not even 200? What a joke! If you won't back off, I will make you." Raditz tore into King Piccolo in front of his own court, and within a couple of minutes, Piccolo was dead. Up on the lookout, Kami had little time to react to this before he promptly vanished. He of course lamented not stepping in sooner to stop Piccolo, him sticking to his mantra of ever observing planet Earth and never getting involved. So Raditz cleared off the king. He then left to do what he originally meant to do here, find his brother. And he did find him eventually. His power level wasn't that great. About, I don't know, 50? He was in a very sorry state. But Raditz took pity on him this time, saying that he was his brother and that he had many things to explain to him. "Come with me, brother. I can show you great things and make you into a great fighter." Thanks to his naivete, Goku believed it. He had no idea what Saiyans were, and the fact that he had family now was good enough for him. Remember, he wasn't as good as the original Goku, more like he was neutral good, or maybe just neutral, not really having external stimuli all that often. The story ends with, like in my 2017 version, Frieza claiming the planet Earth for himself, and praising Raditz's due diligence, as well as finding a new Saiyan pet for the Emperor to play with. Capsule Corp and the remains of the Red Ribbon Army, because they didn't really get involved with the Dragon Balls because they were too late, they were bought up by the Frieza Force, and they were flipped into making goods for the Empire, their owners getting to live so long as they knew what was good for them. So yeah, Goku not meeting Bulma is kinda big. This time I felt it could have meant the first arc went by okay, but when you get into the realm of King Piccolo, Raditz, Frieza, without Goku there, things get a little dicey. If only Bulma hadn't nettled Pilaf, then they could have gotten away with it. At least Bulma had strawberries. I mean, the coupon was still good, even though Frieza was ruling the planet. And that's where we end things. So what did you folks think? Are you curious about how Raditz would be a good brother to Kakarot? Which version of mine did you like more? Leave a comment below, and let's get this discussion going. And I will see you in the next video. Catch you later!